Hello everybody, welcome back to another David Peters deep dive. Today I will be deep diving into his fish taxonomy, specifically placoderms. So on the LRT, placoderms are a paraphyletic clade of basal fish, the ancestors Gnathostomata 2 and Chondrichthyes, which is cartilaginous fish. Or outside of these groups which are within it, but I won't be covering them here because that would mean it would be massive, because these contain most fish, according to Peters. It is made up of Drepanaspidae, which is technically outside of Placodermi, Xenocanthidae, which is the most basal ancestors of Chondrichthyes and also technically not a member of Placodermi, Paraspidae, another paraphyletic clade in the most basal family of actual placoderms, Mantaidae, Lunaspidae, Diandong Paralichthidae, and Parayuanalepidae. First up is Drepanaspidae, which is the most basal branch on the group leading to placoderms. Because Peters' concepts of taxonomy are incoherent, he calls these Galeaspids, but this is the name of an actual clade, and he is inconsistent with his naming of groups, and to avoid confusion, I will be using the term Drepanaspidae rather than Galeaspidae. The first Drepanaspid is a species that Peters calls not Loganelia, which is based on the specimen GLAHM V8304, which is a specimen of Loganelia in reality. Loganelia, which Peters claims this isn't, but it is in reality, was a Loganelia velodontiform, an extinct order of jawless fish, from the Silurian and Devonian, 430 to 370 million years ago, of Canada, Ireland, Russia and the UK, and Peters places it as the most basal Drepanaspid. Next up is Drepanaspis gemuendensis, which was in reality a psalmosteid pteraspidiform, another order of prehistoric jawless fish. It is known from the early Devonian, approximately 416 to 397 million years ago, of Germany, Belgium and Luxembourg, France. On the LRT, it is a more basal Drepanaspid, and Peters does not make any odd claims about it. Another Drepanaspid is Dunyu longiforus. In reality, was a Eugaleaspidiform, yet another order of extinct jawless fish, from the Silurian, 433 to 422 million years ago, of China. Peters placed it as the most derived member of Drepanaspidae alongside its sister taxon Laxaspis, but he does not make any other odd claims about it. The penultimate Drepanaspid is Laxaspis cuginensis, which was a Gumuaspid polybranchaspidiform, in another of these bloody extinct jawless fish orders. It is known from the earliest Devonian, 419.2 to 410.8 million years ago, of China. On the LRT, it's the sister to Dunyu and the most derived of the Drepanaspids, but he doesn't make any odd claims about it. The final Drepanaspid is Tugiaspis vividus, which was in reality a basal Eugaleaspidiform, is known from the Silurian, approximately 436 million years ago, of China. It is a newly discovered species, so Peters does not specify the exact placement on the LRT, but he does place it in Drepanaspidae, at least on the reptile evolution site, and doesn't make any other weird claims about it. The next family of placoderms is Xenocanthidae, the most basal ancestors of Chondrichthyes. The first Xenocanthid we're going to cover is Eryptychus americanus, which in reality was an Eryptychid Eryptychiform, one more of those orders of prehistoric jawless fish, known from the late Ordovician, 457.3 to 445.5 million years ago, of Canada and the US. Peters places it as the most basal Xenocanthid, and he doesn't make that many odd claims about it, but makes it look like a complete and utter abomination. The second Xenocanthid is Xenocanthus vermiformis itself, which was in reality most likely an incredibly basal cartilaginous fish from the Silurian, approximately 438.5 to 433.4 million years ago, of China. On the LRT, it is a more derived chenacantid, and apparently the most basal acanthodian, but Peters does not make any other odd claims about it. Another chenacantid is Rhainorichthys zangolii. It was an Iniopterygiid family of holocephalans, chimera relatives with prominent butterfly-like fins in reality, and it is known from the Carboniferous, approximately 327.0 to 323.7 million years ago, of Montana. Peters places it as a more derived chenacantid and gives it the same ridiculous body shape as the other chenacanthids. The final chenacantid is Papilionichthys starley, which in reality was another Iniopterygiid, this time from the early Carboniferous, approximately 327 to 323.7 million years ago, of Montana. Peters places it as the sister to Rhainorichthys, although there is a discrepancy between his placement of these two on reptile evolution and on the LRT. On the LRT they are basal chondrichthyans rather than derived chenacanthids, and he doesn't seem to universally confirm either of these placements elsewhere. He does not make any odd claims about it, and appears to give it a slightly less deformed body plans than its relatives. The most basal clade of actual placoderms is Paraspidae, which is paraphyletic. Within Paraspidae is Arandaspis prionotolepis, which was an Arandaspid from the early Ordovician 480 to 470 million years ago of the Northern Territory, Australia in reality. It is the most basal true placoderm on the LRT, and Peters does not make any unusual claims about it. Another paraspid is Paraspis brevis itself, which in reality was a paraspine cyathaspidid jawless fish from the late Silurian to early Devonian, 427.4 to 391.9 million years ago, of Canada, Norway, the US, and Russia. Peters places it as a paraspid, more derived than the Arandaspis, and does not make any odd claims about it. The final paraspid is Brindabelaspis stensioi, which was a Brindabelaspidian, an order of basal placoderm. In reality, it was known from the early Devonian, 407.6 to 393.3 million years ago, of New South Wales, Australia, and Peters places it as a more derived paraspid related to Mantidae. He does not appear to make any odd claims about it. The first and most basal monophyletic clade of true placoderms is Manteidae. The first member of this family is Killineu rostrata, which in reality was a placoderm of uncertain placement from the late Silurian, 423 million years ago, of China. Peters places it as a member of Manteidae, sister to Manta itself, and he does not make any particularly odd claims about it. The next mantaid is Manta birostris itself. As of 2018, the genus Manta was synonymized with Mobula. Manta birostris is commonly known as the extant giant oceanic manta ray. It is the most well-known and largest member of the genus. It is a mobulid or devil ray, known from tropical oceans around the world. The species Mobula birostris dates back to the Miocene 23 million years ago, and the genus dates back to the Oligocene 34 million years ago. Peters places it as a mantaid, sister to Killineu, and other than the phylogeny does not make any other claims, other than of course using the outdated genus name. The next mantaid is Rhinoptera marginata, commonly known as the modern Lusitanian cownose ray. It is a rhinopterid, or cownose ray, from the oceans west of Africa and the Mediterranean. The genus evolved in the late Paleocene, at the latest 59 million years ago, and he places it somewhere in Manteidae, but does not specify where. He does not make any odd physiological claims about it, although he does refer to it as being known as Mylobates marginata, which is presumably a misspelling of the genus name Mylobates. As far as I can find, Rhinoptera marginata has never been classified as a species of Mylobates. Yet another family of placoderms is Lunaspidae. One of the lunaspids is Schisbiaspis epici, which in reality was a macropetalichthyidian from the early Devonian of Australia. Peters places it in Lunaspidae, sister to Lunaspis itself, and does not appear to make any strange claims about it. The next lunaspid is Lunaspis heraldi itself, which was, in reality, another macropetalichthidian known from the early Devonian, 409.1 to 402.5 million years ago, of Germany, China, and Australia. Peters places it as the sister to Schiasbiaspis within Lunaspidae, and he does not make any other weird claims about it. The next family of placoderms is Diandong Paralichthiidae, which is the second most derived covered in this video. The first Diandong Paralichthiid is Stenciula heintzii, which in reality was a Stenciolid, a monotypic family that were either incredibly basal placoderms or just outside of Placodermi. It is known from the early Devonian, approximately 409.1 to 402.5 million years ago, of Germany, and on the LRT it is the most basal member of Diandong Paralichthiidae, making it much more derived within Placodermi than it should be in reality, but Peters does not make any other odd claims about it. The next member of this family is Colomaspis siberica, which was in reality an obscure paleocathid placoderm from the early Devonian, Eocene, of Siberia. Peters places it as a more derived Diandong Paralichthiid, and a sister to Diandong Paralichthes itself, in contrast to its real placement in Acanthothoraci, a more basal order of placoderms. He claims it was jawless, despite the fact you could easily disprove this by simply looking at the fossil. The final member of Diandong Paralichthiidae is Diandong Paralichthes liaojiaoshanensis, which was in reality a petalichthiid placoderm from the early Devonian, 419.2 to 410.8 million years ago, China. It is placed as a derived Diandong Paralichthiid by Peters and as sister to Colomaspis, while in reality Paralichthidia is closer to being a basal placoderm. He also claims that it had no jaw as well, something that is, again, patently untrue. The final and most derived family of jawless placoderms is Paraeuonolepidae. The first member of this family is Paraeuonolepis zitunensis. In reality, it was a Eunonolepid antiarch placoderm from the early Devonian, Lochkovian, of China. Peters places it as a basal Paraeuonolepid, a far cry from Antiarche's realistic placement as one of the most basal placoderm clades. He once again incorrectly claims it was jawless, although in the process of growing jaws, but he claims they were placoderm jaws, rather than gnathostone jaws, whatever the fuck that means. Another member of this family is Microbrachius dicai, a microbrachiid bothrolepidoid from the early to mid-Devonian, 393.3 to 382.7 million years ago, of Scotland, Belarus, China, and Estonia in reality, but on the LRT it is a more derived Paraeuonolepid, sister to Bothrolepis, and once again it is a much more basal placoderm belonging to Antiarche in reality. He again claims it was jawless, of course, but other than this does not make any outrageous claims. The final Paraeuonolepidid and the final creature covered in this video is Bothrolepis canadensis, which in reality was a bothrolepidoid from the late Devonian, approximately 387 to 360 million years ago, or basically everywhere. Peters claims it to be a derived Paraeuonolepid, and the most derived jawless placoderm, making it more than derived than it and Antiarch was in reality. Other than being jawless, he does not make any other claims about it. It is worth noting that there are some fish which are considered as placoderms by both Peters and conventional scientists that are not included in this video because they are basal members of Gnathostomata too, rather than just the jawless placoderms which are covered here. And that was Placodermi, or at least the jawless placoderms. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I certainly didn't enjoy making it. I have a second channel and a Discord server linked in the description. Other than that, goodbye.